Okay, welcome back for part 2 of implementing our dialogue in our scene. The next method I want to show you, aside from having text just pop up in our face at the beginning, we can do something very similar, but we can do it with things like objects that we can click on, and after we click on the book, we get a window that shows us what we might be reading out of the book. Again, we can click on that to get rid of it. We could also do NPCs that we can click on, and they can have their own dialogue pop up as if they're talking to us. Again, when we're done reading, we click on it, and it will disappear. So how do we go about taking the code that we already have and using it for something like this? Now keep in mind, you can test this on something as simple as a cube, which would make your life very easy. So as a test object, you might just go bring a cube into the world, and that will be enough to test this code. But before we call this project done, I recommend going to the asset store and finding something that would actually work for your purposes. Whether it's a 3D model of a character, a sign that could be hanging on the wall, a piece of paper lying on the counter, however your player might find the information. So right now I'm searching for some kind of assets that might be helpful to me in terms of something for a character to find and read. I found this set of low poly office props. Something like this could be really helpful. If you want to have a laptop in your world that the player can go up to, click on, and get some information from, this will do just fine. So let's go back to our scene. I'll turn this cube into a makeshift table for one of my low-poly office props. I'll just go find one of their laptop assets and put it right here so that my character can go and read whatever important information this laptop holds for us. But how are we going to attach code to this that will show us the information when we click on it instead of just at the beginning of the game? Well, let's go into our dialog folder, create a new C# script, and I'm going to call this one laptop dialog. Now, while this code is a little more complex, the good news is you've written most of this code in one way or another before. And if you're clever, you can just copy and paste most of it. So first let's go and let's copy and paste over our opening dialog. I'm going to stop before the public class because I already have a public class and a name for my script. I don't need to copy and paste this information. But I'm going to copy and paste everything from my public string message down to the very bottom. So I'm hitting Command C to copy. Going over to my laptop dialog, and I'm going to highlight everything from the bottom up until right before my public class. Again, I don't want to change the public class, but everything below that, I can happily just go and Command V and paste in. So now I have a copy of the code that I started with. But this is just going to make the same message pop up at the beginning of the game. And that's not what we want. So what do we need to change? Well, we already have clickable objects. So what about looking at our mouse click code? We can use a lot of this. Like if I want the laptop to be highlighted when I click on it, I can copy this public renderer line and I can paste it right up here with my other variables. Now I need something to happen when I click with the mouse, and I don't want this message to show up right when the game starts. So instead of void start, let's just change this to void on mouse down, which we've done before. So when we click the mouse, show message will turn to true instead of right at the beginning of the game. Now, if we want to use this public renderer to make the object glow, let's go back to our mouse click script. And let's just copy and paste everything from void mouse enter. So we start at void mouse enter, and we go down until we've highlighted 1, 2, 3, 4 curly brackets. No more, no less. Then we bring this over to our laptop dialog. And I should really be able to put this anywhere, but I'll put this right after the onMouseDown function and before the onGUI function. And let's say we want this to glow a slightly different color. Well, instead of glowing dark blue, if I want it to be kind of a light blue or teal color, I'll just change this second 0 in the middle here to 1. And let's say that I want my text box to be a little bit bigger this time around. I can change this from 200 to 400. And I'll make it a little bit taller as well, and change this from 200 to 300. Let's change the message. And if you remember last time, when this was a public string and I changed the message inside of Unity, we ran out of room and the text was going outside of the edges. Now my bigger message box will help with that, but really it's going to be one line that eventually, if we write too much, is just going to go outside the edges. So to avoid changing this in Unity and messing it up, I'm going to make this a private string this time. So I've typed my first line of dialogue, but I want to start a new line so that I don't go off the edges and I can sort of keep this easy to read. All I need to do is type \n. And you can see it takes on a different color. And now I can start my new line. All right, I've got a second line. I'll type \n again and do one more. All right, now let's do File Save. Now we need to attach our laptop dialog to the laptop by either dragging and dropping it onto the laptop in the hierarchy, or if we have it selected, we can go and drag and drop it into its inspector. Either one works. Once it's attached, if we want the glow to work, we just need to make sure that we attach the laptop itself to its own renderer slot so it knows what to make glow. Now let's go give it a test play. All right, it's glowing. That's a good sign. I click on it. There's my text. Nothing's running off the edges. Looking good. I click on it and it goes away. And I can come back and read it at any time. Or I can go read my book. Or go talk to this character. So, if you've been keeping up, you already wrote your dialogue last week. All you need to do now is use one or both of these versions of the code to put some of your dialogue into the game. So any dialogue that you wrote last week, you should spend this week using this code to get it in the game. Once you've got it done, go ahead, take a screenshot of how your dialogue looks in the game, and share it with us in the comments on Schoology. Okay, until next time, good luck and have fun.